Aunt Elaine, how many months apart are Aunt Elaine and Mom?
Well, months, years, honey. 2 years.
2.
That's good.
Yeah, because your mother is going to be 62 and Elaine is 60.
Happy birthday.
There you go. Happy
Elaine would be
birthday.
nowhere without you.
You either. You either.
I got this much left for I said, I made it. I said, I like pressure. Richard goes, oh, guys. Hi, Joey. I know.
How you doing? Good. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Coming together?
We're all set. The only bummer was we had 18 balloons and the heat popped them all. So we have 2 balloons left. That's it. Yeah. So David and I put them up and they could pop them. So I said to the caterers, tell Mom when she gets here that the balloons really did look nice. Because I had them up on all the corners, but they're still.
Well, you know, Shelley said she made it up there.
Hi, Brandy.
Hi, Dad. But her and her dad are dressed alike.
She did it on purpose.
It is popped in that floor over there. Why don't you sit here in the comfortable?
And I'm eating finally.
That's just because you kept it.
Yeah, I wanted to get some.
Yeah, you know, they're keeping it down.
You guys ever go on that trip? I think I asked you. I didn't know.
No,
You guys ever go on that outdoor trip? Just like recently?
Can't keep up with them.
Fishing.
Show the camera on
When was that? Oh, okay. Was it fun? You get bit by mosquitoes, buddy? Yeah, that's the only part I wouldn't like.
Uncle John?
Elaine, you're a blur.
Yeah.
Uncle Shawnee in the blue shirt? You didn't know he was here?
I can't believe I blocked out of that.
You want me to get your tea out?
I'm downstairs at the roughen. I'm downstairs at the roughen. There.
Will you repeat that?
Let's go to bed at 6 o'clock at night. Run laps.
I did get hurt out like clothes because if all got clothes and I'm going to take it out saying that was me. If I was naked, it wasn't me. I remember this
What am I doing? There's balloons all over.
taking out all these pictures. Yeah, I got hurt. And, hello.
Hi, gang.
Hi.
Hi, Austin. Oh, honey. She got burned by the coffee maker. Okay, that way it works.
Is there a setting that's buying one?
Oh.
Family, action. And there's so many fun things for the kids. Yeah.
Shouldn't Elaine be in the middle?
We have a request for Elaine to be in the middle.
I don't think so.
I vote yes.
Well, Elaine, a few of us will be sharing some thoughts of you today, better known as a roast. Now, where do I begin? My earliest memories of you were when we lived on Wallace Avenue, and you and Georgiana taught me the value of money. I actually think it was in an alley. I remember being in an alley when this happened. I learned that.
Dirty, Carol?
I learned that when somebody gave us some money, and Elaine had actually convinced me that because she had a nickel and I was given a dime, that a nickel was more valuable because it was bigger. So I thank you for, how did you remember that? I was probably, 4 or 5. But I actually remember that, being taught that lesson from you. I thank you for my early money management skills.
Oh, Sammy.
You and Georgiana got along so well, and I especially remember when we did dishes together. There was never any fighting going on at all. And, some things that I did observe, I would always tell Mommy, and Mommy would always say to Elaine, somebody told me that you did this or you did that. Yes, way back then, there was a deep throat, but Elaine always blamed Mrs. Bloom as being Mrs. Deep Throat. But it was actually me.
You should get there. I think this roast is for you too.
We all have things to share. So when, remember when you fell asleep in the sun for like 4 or 5 hours? And, only one person really saw that this had happened. And it was, you were out there in your two-piece bathing suit, but this one person was Chuck Perchanis. And he didn't say anything because he would have to put down the binoculars first to know that you had fallen asleep. And Elaine did get sun poisoning and was in an awful lot of pain, but I'll tell you what, when she wasn't looking, I had a ball peeling her.
And Georgiana would put her hand over me so I would have a hand work.
And you remember how you used to love to cook and bake for us? She would make cream puffs, and one thing that she really enjoyed making for us was pancakes. And she never complained. I mean, we would say more and more, and she'd want to sit down and start, eating her own pancakes, but she never minded that we'd be on her like 15 pancakes each. And she never complained because she wanted to keep her size 24 waist. And Elaine, do you remember when you were a cheerleader and she used to have me get on her shoulders and practice doing the split? Let's show them how we used to do that.
She's still cute.
And I also remember Elaine and Marge Miller were like best friends. And they would go to a show and out to dinner, and many, many times they included me. And I never really knew why, but years later I did, because I was a guy magnet for them, right? And Elaine, I want to also thank her for teaching me at an early age about the environment. She actually sacrificed herself to teach me this by throwing herself onto a poison ivy plant that was wrapped around a tree, just so that I could learn about the great outdoors. So that was very kind. I remember that.
Did she get poison ivy?
That's so funny. I said, do you remember that? It's like, no, you weren't even born.
And I was always a fast runner. That's one of the things I brag about myself, is I was a fast runner. But you know what? I've never given Elaine the credit for having me be that fast runner. She actually trained me. Week after week after week, she would take me to the back of the church, and when the last person took a small piece of holy bread, Elaine would shout, "Now!" And we'd all go running down to the altar. We'd run down to the altar to get the last morsels of holy bread. So
Jana's so happy that she's not involved.
Otherwise, not the lunch, right?
Yeah.
And who could ever forget our orange candles at church? Most people at the church would purchase white candles. But, I apparently found out that orange was the sweetheart's favorite color, so that's why we always had orange. But later, with Elaine's allowance, she would actually purchase, with her allowance, white candles. I thought that was very impressive.
Because the orange were for poor people. Yeah, or we did the white one to keep it from time, whatever
And,
Not even on your birthday.
Go up on that gift table and bring me down my bag.
Where's the
you
gift
know,
table?
pictures.
Right up on the porch.
Our allowance. You can count on it. But you know, what did you do besides buying white candles?
Oh, yeah.
With her allowance. I thought this was so impressive. She actually bought a can of Pledge to clean her bedroom. As a young teenager. A can of Pledge, I would be so impressed. That very
But now I don't even have one, so thanks. That changed my ways. Now I'm just like Carol.
Her furniture, I found out that that's protective coating. You know, you shouldn't remove that too often. But anyway. Okay, sometimes us kids would go to the Capitol Theater in Farrell, and we never really had money for treats, but sometimes we would get lucky, and we would actually find gum at the theater. You know
Under the chair, under the seat.
Okay, getting ready for school for you was, while you were getting ready, it was so much fun for me because she always took extra special care on her DA hairdo, you know, combing it with that metal comb that she has, and it probably still has the same comb. She had that DA, which Mom just told me what DA stands for. I didn't even know what that stood for. But he told me what the DA, what that actually
She's
stood
so
for.
much younger.
Anyway, when Elaine was all done with the perfect hairdo, she would get her can of Aqua. I can remember that. She would spray and spray and spray and spray. And then when she was all done, I'd say, stand still, because then I could get ready by looking into her shiny ears. The shiniest ears I've ever seen on anybody. Elaine, how about when you were pregnant with Chris? Dr. Raschuti was your doctor. And one night we were all over at Mom's, and you and John said that you were getting ready to go see Dr. Zhivago. And Mom said, I thought you were going to Dr. Raschuti. What we need to do is have a roast for Mom. That's what we need to do. Get together and roast Mom. Well, Elaine, I just want to say, and by saying thanks for being a great sister and for always being a great role model for me and a mentor. Now, this is Mom, and Mom was too shy to get up here and speak.
Mom's always at a loss for words.
Mom asked me to just say two things about Elaine, other than that she loves her and all that.
But she can't say it herself.
No. I don't like Mom. I don't like this. But when Mom, you know, was raising us kids, she always taught us to eat every single thing on our plate. So when Elaine was like really, really young, we all, or they, I don't know if I was even involved, but went to Grandma Breeze's house, and Grandma was making soup. And Grandma Breeze, when she made chicken soup, would even put the chicken's head in the soup. You know, we all thought it was beef, but that's a different story.
Let John get more information.
Anyway, so anyway, just to be funny, Grandma Breeze scooped up the chicken's head and actually put it in Elaine's dish, just as to be funny. And Elaine started crying. She goes, Mommy, do I have to eat its face? And then the one time, we don't know why. You know how sometimes you just get something and you don't know how you got it, but Elaine ended up with a boil on her knee.
Grandma.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody went to bed except for one person, Grandma Breeze, because she had an old country remedy for boils, and that was called human waste. And Grandma sacrificed herself in the middle of the night to force herself to come up with the remedy. And with some medicine, some homemade medicine. And all of a sudden, Elaine wakes up screaming, running to Mom's room. Mommy, Mommy, Grandma pooped on me.
Wait, that you didn't want to get you sure told us.
That is Mom. That's Mom's story.
And the oil went away.
Giving that to Elaine, I have something in here because I know how you like to go to the movies.
Grandma squeezed off the
And this one is
Where's the prop?
it's been used.
Oh, well, thank you.
Now, I knew this was that would be full, yeah, the place would be full. So, our next speaker is between Georgiana Antal and Sherry Dowd. And so whichever one wants to come up here and take the mic. But she's getting a prop,
And I wanted a prop, and they told me she already got it. Well, I just sent Elaine a card several years ago for her birthday. And
Now, it started out with one night.
oh no, I should actually jump through this. Now this is
Yeah, there's all this cute stuff.
It's all sweat.
I'll read it.
yeah.
Yeah, she's tough. Dip here, cool.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, forget about the part that I love.
It's a wonder either of us have any. I think we only fought a couple times like that for territorial rights, but if you think back
Can I
to
do
the
me a
years,
favor?
we
Aunt
did get
Carol,
along pretty good.
you move
In
that
fact,
pink bag.
I really can't remember ever fighting in the daytime. We were always so busy playing with other kids. Remember all the friends we had on Fairmont Drive? The names are sketchy except for Franny Gorzo and Arlene Graham, and of course Carol and Judy Herm. I don't know if any of you remember those people. I like to remember the Blue Moon Club that we had in the house that Dad built for us in the backyard. Weren't you the secretary? I wish we still had the logs and kept of all our plans for the summer. Remember all the cleaning we did as teenagers? How about the non-stop race we would get as we started out laying on a blanket and moved with the sun all the way up to the end of the property? By then, Dad would be coming home. Remember how we'd all line up in the kitchen to give him a kiss? Remember how we always ate together as a family? Then while we would wash the dishes, Dad would read the paper in the living room. Remember our first skates, the ones that hooked to our shoe and you needed a key to tighten them? How about in the evenings when we would play Red Rover, let Gary come over, or Release, or Fox and Chickens?
Or
Remember
Johnny.
the days to see Grandma breathe? It seems she worked from sun up to sundown. Remember how she and Aunt Tilly would can tomatoes in the basement? I always remember them canning peaches. Remember when Mom always wore dresses? Remember our party line in Farrell? If it rang 3 times, it was ours. Did you ever listen in on other calls? I did. You would pick up the phone and breathe real quiet so no one would hear you. Someone would eventually yell, "Get off the line!" Remember going to Hubbard and jumping on the bed with Wally and Gloria? Remember the record hop at the middle of Hubbard? How about the movie theater where we'd throw popcorn and Gloria would stand on the edge of the stage and people would scream at her to get down? Did you ever go to school with her? How about the trip to Cleveland where we'd stop at Chagrin Falls to get popcorn and then go down the bumpy hills on the way to Grandma's? Remember how Mom and Dad would sing a lot in the car? Remember the time?
That was great.
Remember the time Dad would play the harmonica? See how you remember the harmonica? Remember going to Aunt Florence's? How about those black dish bags she would wipe the table off with? How about her ratty-looking dogs and how fun it used to be to hear her play the piano? How about Uncle George and Aunt Pauline that lived by the coal mine shaft? Remember how there wasn't any towel or carpet on the floor? Just a swept dirt floor? How she could play the piano. Remember how dirty Georgie and Bobby were, how they were always so dirty? Remember the big bonfire they would build and the wheat roast, and then would roast corn? It was so hard to envision that Aunt Pauline was Grandma Elrod's sister. Remember the jacks we used to play, and of course jumping rope down in the meadow where the green grass grows. There's Daddy Elaine, as sweet as a rose. She sang so sweet, and along came John and kissed her on the cheek. How many kisses did she get? 1, 2, then the failure when you stepped on the rope and had to start all over again. Our life was so filled with fun and laughter. We really had a good life together. And even through the years, we've had a wonderful friendship. Happy birthday to my very good friend, my sister.
Very good at golf, very competitive. I found out a couple years ago she's extremely competitive. We were at the driving range preparing to go golfing. And I was hitting the ball okay, but she saw some problems with my swing. I fixed them all since then.
Perfect, you know.
Yeah. She gave me a few pointers, and at the end of it, I couldn't even hit the ball more than like 50 yards. But I know she knew what she was doing. She's very competitive, but I don't think she would do that to me, you know, to ruin my game.
Trying to help them.
But we had fun. You know. So, there you go.
That was nice.
You know, when we were sitting here thinking, it's really hard to come up with something about Elaine because there are so many wonderful adjectives and it's really a revelation for us to sit here as the other part of the family because we never knew all these. Yeah, it's like trying to keep them a secret. I know.
We are perfect.
I know. Perfect. But I was telling a couple of people that, do you remember the first time I saw you?
At the wedding.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what I was going to say. The first time I met Elaine was in her wedding dress, and it was so strange to me because John had been around the block a few times. He was
Where'd he go?
Yeah, let's get everybody in the pot.
and I thought to myself,
I'm pretty proud of that.
when I heard he was engaged again, I thought, well, should I come home?
Again?
You know, what's going to happen? But the marriage
Yeah,
was
we'll
on.
tell
I
you
thought,
about
well,
that.
you know, this is obviously it. And so that was the first time I met Elaine was when she was in her wedding gown. Oh, Elaine, you are the perfect one for my brother.
I want a pencil. Yeah. I'm going to write something down before you do this. I know what it is.
You don't have to write
Oh,
that
we'll
down.
trust you. I don't know it.
You know, I know.
You know, it's funny, I was looking for some dirt on my in-laws.
It's not on.
Is this on?
Now
Oh, hear me now?
I was looking for some dirt on my in-laws, and you know, it just seemed like the only stuff we ever came up with was on my father-in-law, and it's a good thing this isn't a roast for him today, 'cause we'd be here for about 12 hours. But, you know, it's funny, there was only one thing that I was ever able to dig up on her, and I was able to give him aside, you know, take him aside for a minute, and he pulled me aside and said, look, you know, you think your mother-in-law, you know, she's honest and a good person, but the fact matter is she's actually a known thief. I don't know that, but you know, it's funny. She used to go to what was the store? Carol, you know, don't you?
Oh, they all know the name. They all yell it out.
We know the problem.
And she would eat food in the store before paying for it.
She still does.
And one time when she was like 17, I think, she went into the store, and she would eat pieces of donut. They had donuts that laid up on the counter, and she would eat donuts off of the counter without, you know, she'd go over and take a bite and walk around the store and chew it. Then she'd go back up and pick up the donut and take another bite and walk around and chew it. And she got caught for this, and they called, I don't know the whole story, because that's the only part I cared about, was that she got caught. There's this other part afterwards, and they call the house and tell you that she had been stealing things, and she went through, you know. They built the house for it and everything, you know, and it was, it's funny, I just...
They filed for bankruptcy over there.
And I had heard that, you know, they had rehabilitated her, you know, she went through a program, like a 12-step program, kleptomaniacs. But I want you to know that, you know, we tried to have donuts today, and I want you to know that this is what I found up on the counter, and so I don't think she's been rehabilitated.
When?
I would always beg Chris, you know, please, oh, please, oh, please, can I spend the night at your house? And, you know, Aunt Elaine and Uncle John, they always had a great pantry, food, bread, you know, milk, stuff that we went to the neighbors to borrow.
Who was she roasting?
Back to us, Rich. Next door.
And I remember Aunt Elaine was so very cool to us. She would sit in the car and I would tickle her back, and then Chris would say, that's my mommy, I want to tickle her back, I want to tickle her back. So Aunt Elaine would be like, okay. So then Aunt Elaine did her back tickled by me, and then Chris, and then me and Chris. And then one day, Aunt Elaine and Uncle John wanted to treat us to the drive-in, and he's gonna tell them. I was so glad that we went to the drive-in, and Aunt Elaine really, you know, she really pumped me up and made me feel good, you know. That's because I was a little overweight. And at the same time, I had a broken ankle from falling out of the tree playing Monkey Sharks with Sean and Shelley. And so, Aunt Elaine and Uncle John, they didn't make me hide under the trunk this time. They had to go to the movie, but they had this little train ride thing around the front of the movie theater, and Aunt Elaine put me in the back of the caboose, real nice. We were going around the corner on the train, and with my leg hanging out, my belly hanging in, and I tipped the whole train over. Thank Aunt Elaine for that.
Only a long one. Remember that time he was in Mars and did the speech?
No.
He's going to get his Mars speech first.
Yeah, I got the song.
Yeah. It's the first of 13 songs.
Or 60.
Actually, I don't have many memories of Elaine because she's so much older than me.
Oh.
We look the same age.
No, you go more here.
I don't want it. I think in case you're
Just goes to Dover. That's it, George. Wait till the audience dies down.
I don't have very much. So I'm going to start when I was 15, trying to learn how to drive a car, okay? First of all, if any of you are familiar with Grandpa's Speedtar, he was never on the bleeding edge of buying new cars. We never got a new car, it was a different car. And anyhow, the car that I learned on was, I think, a Studebaker or something. It had a steering wheel about like this.
What happened?
Okay? And you needed two hands to steer it. As a matter of fact, when you were done with the driving lesson there, your arms actually hurt because it was so hard to steer this thing. It was, you know, it was really difficult. Well, anyhow, my sister, who used to work at Frantic, of course, you know, she came in one day and pulls in the driveway like this, and then straightens it back out. And she said, well, come on, I'll take you for a ride. You know, so, you know, she really had a real tough time there when she was learning how to, or driving. So that was kind of a comparison there. I got to thinking about Grandma Breeze, and she always told stories about having to walk 4 or 5 blocks for groceries, and how life was living through the Depression and raising kids and how difficult the years were. And then I got to Grandma's Speedtar and talked to my kids about how tough it was living on a limited budget, and, you know, with Grandpa, you know, just trying to make ends meet, living in Farrell and rats and all that kind of stuff. And I got to think of what kind of stories will Elaine be telling her grandkids? I mean, because, you know, poor Elaine. I think Elaine really did have a very difficult life. I mean, it's not always been like this. I mean, she's prim and proper and really looks good, but she's had some very difficult times, a lot of struggles, a lot of mishaps. And so I think some of these things she should share with her grandkids so that they can know how tough her life was. Well, anyhow, for example, when she was a junior in high school, she got embarrassed in front of 150 or so fans at a football game. Somebody had her stand in the middle of the football field and messed her hair up. It turned out that it was because they put a crown on her head. She was homecoming queen. But that was so sad. Poor Elaine. You know, she was so embarrassed. Also in high school, Elaine was never able to watch a football game. She always had to look the other way. She had to look up this way, and the game was that way because she happened to be one of the 5 that was selected to be a cheerleader. So poor Elaine, I feel so bad for her. And if you want to moan, you can. Also, her husband John was so mean to her. He used supposed to say, how mean was he? John was so mean that about the time that she started liking a car she was driving, he bought her a brand new one. She had to go from a Porsche to a BMW to a Jaguar to a Lincoln. She never was able to get used to a car. Poor Elaine. Also, Elaine was really never able to sleep in. Everybody else had to get up at, about 8 o'clock and go to work, but poor Elaine had to get up at 7 or sometimes even earlier. She had to get up and prepare for her long walk from the clubhouse to T number 1. Poor Elaine. Also, when she played in Newcastle in the tournaments, all these golf tournaments, all the other players were able to just play their rounds and go home and not to be hurt again. But poor Elaine had to go all the way back up there to pick up her championship trophy. 8 times, poor Elaine. And even to this day, poor Elaine can't even enjoy winter weather in Pennsylvania. She's got to go all the way down to Florida. Anyhow, that's just some fun jabbing. Elaine has been, and John, but mostly Elaine. No. She's been very instrumental. All the big events she's always had at her house, dinners and all that stuff. So if anybody deserves the life that you've led, you do. The oldest man in the crowd. Give him respect.
Everybody stand. He should have worn a 60-year-old.
He went by the student. I don't need the mic.
What?
How many of you remember our old parties we used to have around the August 20th week? 28th?
I believe you remember.
And we used to plan a big corn roast all the time. I would burn wood all day long, and we'd have about 10, 12 dozen ears of corn to roast.
All the meals and the wood that you were burning for sure.
We would burn all this wood and have this big pit full of hot coals, and we would roast this corn. I'd have corn soaking all day long in the husk, so to be ready to put right in the ashes. Couldn't wait till Elaine got there, because if you ever want to have a corn roast, she's the best one to have there. She used to taste and sample at least a dozen ears of corn. At least. Take part of it, say, oh, Richie, this isn't quite done, this isn't quite done.
And then what did you say? Oh, boy.
Well,
Wrap it back up.
throw it away and have another one in a little bit. Well, pretty soon, we were drinking beer at that time.
Oh, at that time.
And as it got to be a little bit later in the evening and got a little darker, the corn would start to get done. And Elaine would always sample it and start into it and say, it's done, we can all eat corn. And she would just start eating corn. Just couldn't wait to eat all those ears. And then one day, we did this during the day, I think. One year we did it during the day. And we happened to open up a couple of these ears of corn that Elaine used to eat so much of, and found out that the worms were still in the ears of corn. And you said that corn was so good. Did you agree that it was always good?
The story is that Richie would holler every time I said they weren't done. I mean, he'd have a fit. I was like, I'm sorry, ask somebody else.
I think we heard the terminology of it.
And all those ears. Yeah.
Three.
Oh, you want to say that?
I'm trying to think.
Because
I'm not good at this, but I can laugh it too. I can't make laugh.
No, but I'm like,
Your wife says she
I'm
can't
not the
talk.
right person.
Help me remember.
Hey, who's got that camera?
Give her a jingle. Because Elaine was the one that I learned from doing all the mistakes.
Hey, are we talking about the 16th birthday?
That's her roast. Oh, that's her
That was my
roast.
roast.
Yeah.
Oh, the cheerleader swing.
Oh, boy.
Oh, but-
Sherry, you're going to regret coming up there.
I would like to excuse my.
Hey, this is more fun. Let's roast Sherry.
The pendulum swings her way.
Pendulum, swing,
Sherry
uncle.
gets to be
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get the.
Yeah,
What
take the
am I
mic.
into this one? I just recall when I started doing
Hold the
hair,
mic higher.
and I would like to tell you. You know what? I'm not used to this.
You're fine. You're
Peter
learning.
can't hear. I just remember when I was learning how to do hair. And I recall when Elaine had the most important thing she had to go to. And it was something that John was being honored, wasn't it, London? And Elaine had to look.
I'd probably be an honor as her husband in a golf tournament.
It was very spectacular.
Mama,
So Elaine wanted to look her
I want to go in a house.
Wait a minute. Done, and she
Wait,
said,
you're all
I would
wet.
like just, to do some highlights. And I said, okay, no problem. Instead of doing the salon, I'll bring it home from the salon because my boss wanted to have her salon to herself with her boyfriend. So I took just enough bleach on. I took just enough bleach on just to do a couple odds and ends because that's what we normally did. But no, Elaine decided this time, oh, now
I'm going to get the blame
She wanted a little more than just the usual. So
I want a jingle.
so I remembered in the past, if you keep it moist, then it will reactivate, and then we will have a little bit more, so it'll come up more. Because I did not have enough bleach. So to stretch it, I had an old cap, and I put a little bit of water on it, and through my unexperience, Elaine looked like a calico cat. We took off the cap, and Mom happened to come through the kitchen and brought Dad through afterward. And all she could say was, oh, George. And Dad came through and he said, oh, boy, I'm going to sit and let him. I'm not It was 5 hours later. And Elaine and I sat there. I tried not to let Elaine see the mirror, but then John called because he wanted to know where his lovely bride was at this 10 o'clock hour. Because I think we started at around 4. And Elaine, even through all this, she never got upset with me. She just said, "Okay, Sherry, let's not get nervous because
I haven't seen it yet.
Now
You careless because you were so calm.
I was being calm and I kept swallowing hard, but I learned what my mom learned: to cry. and
Why it took so long, you were crying.
I was crying myself, and Mom, she crossed every time she looked at it, and it just there. And the time was now 11 o'clock, and she has now probably told John to go to bed because it's going to be a while. When we realized that all stores were closed, we cannot buy bleach anywhere at this hour, we will take it in the morning. In the morning, I called every salon I knew so I could get Elaine help. Elaine went to, what'd you end up doing? You went to another salon, but she still, out of all that, came back. Oh, I made her
Put the mic closer.
I made her go to another salon.
Turn it back on. Hey, Carol.
Elaine, I
Turn it back
honestly
on.
can tell
You
you.
look so bad. I
You might be off on the switch.
A
Little button on the
And
left.
then I'll be back. And
Down,
now,
down,
Elaine,
down.
of all the years, has
Push
given me
it.
another chance.
That's it.
And now I'm doing her daughter and her baby. So I thank you, Elaine, for giving me another chance.
Funny to say.
Funny.
It's all
I
serious.
love her. Two great kids.
He did that on our wedding day, and she did 3 years later.
mingling with the other country club girls. And then when she comes home, she says things like, nice outfit. Oh, let's do lunch. I'll see you at the club.
Your turn, Chris.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
Tell us all those bad things you were going to tell her.
I don't have any words I can ever say.
Oh.
One bad thing I could say.
Oh, God. Now we're all going to cry. Jeez. Not just Shelley, we're all going to cry.
And the one thing that sticks out, not this one or the other, but I remember that I was trying out for cheerleading so many years, and it was so stressful. And we were always just, we think every year it was like, okay, is it going to be this year? And we'd all be praying, and a year would go by, and that wouldn't be it. So then this one year, I didn't even stay because I was too nervous. If I don't make it, I just don't even want to stay. So, Mom and Dad and I, David, who knows where he was, but we were like in the house, and I remember one of my girlfriends called and said that I had made it. And I remember yelling down to Mom and Dad, screaming like, oh, who cares? Like, this is a big deal. Screaming, I made it, I made it. We were all crying, and I later found out that it's so funny now, but she actually prayed.
She bought it.
She prayed that I would make it and said if I made it, she would not eat sweets for an entire year. And she did. So she has sacrificed her whole life for us. And that's my little thing. And that's just one nice story that I can think of, and there's so many of them, so happy birthday.
You'd be the same way. Get up there.
Okay.
George, come on, giddy up.
I never even held one of these in my life, so I'm not a speaker, but I thank you all from the bottom of my heart that everybody was so sweet to come here, and for my birthday, I'm very honored. I can't say enough. I love everybody, and I'm so pleased to have my family. Pleased that you didn't have the stripper. That John cried because he cried at our wedding, and this was a sweet little tribute. I'm glad that my family loves me so much. Thank you all for coming, and Chris and David, thank you for this beautiful party. It was wonderful. Thank you all.
Okay.
This is a paid entertainment.
Yeah, this is it. I need tips too. Well, when we used to go over to Aunt Elaine's house for Christmas and all that stuff, and David and Chad and I used to always go into that front room, and they used to beat me up like no other. And I keep coming back for more, and they keep slamming me, and I just love it. Okay, well, one time we were in the foyer, and David and Chad were swinging me like this, and we ended up hitting something on the counter that was right there, and it, boom, crashed. As soon as it crashed, my mom's all over me. What'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? It wasn't even me. So then, Aunt Elaine, like the good aunt, was pleading my case for me so I wouldn't get in trouble. So thank you.
What about all the other things you brought? She saved it. I have no idea.
And in the furniture.
Oh.
Well, diet.
Okay.
The whole thing at once.
Sheriff Miller out on patrol. There he is, the sheriff. Where's your badge, Sheriff?
It's not like we were there. We played the game before the game. And it was right after the All-Star when they
What'd you do?
stopped the game.
I think I put
He got ripped in the park.
You know, well, the only good thing about the strike is I think Montreal won. But you know what's funny is, you know, I grew up.
Two of the teams they were going to get rid of it.
Oh yeah,
right there.
I was a minor league. I grew up in a town where all of our sports were minor league. We had minor league baseball, football, basketball.
Uh-oh. Where'd she go?
And hockey and basketball. Well, I was back to the CBA blew up. But mine was 7,500 people a game. Arena football.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Where is she? There she is.
Happy birthday, dear Elaine. Happy birthday to you.
Bring it up.
You have all those candles.
Oh, this is going to go on for a while.
Go ahead, George. Go. When I heard that donut story, you know, it's easier to start back from 100 or 100. Anything bad. And I kept digging, over the years, I kept digging in her with
Natalie.
You know, she always has to do everything just right, you know.
You get on my back.
Elaine, we're also glad you invited us to your birthday party.
Hey, Richie, your son's over there telling bullshit stories about how he got shark bite.
I know.
You try to pass that off as a shark bite.
But you don't get to pay anyway, Dave. No.
Yeah.
Yes, where'd you find it?
It was over there, but I didn't know.
Thank you.
Where are you working? You're pretty good?
Well, in the summer, since I'm not in school.
Get behind George. I did not even come.
Hey, take it up.
Randy, get behind George. No, I quit. I'm sick of yelling at
Is this what a teenager does, Brandy?
Hey, who's been saying that?
You're out. Yes, Fred, get out of there. You're out of there. Sit down.
They're having a lot of fun.
I don't care. Get him.
Oh.
You know that thing.
Was that his head they cracked? Oh, thank God. I thought they cracked heads. Is that what it was? Wow, I heard the snap.
He's a couple of kids.
Where's Evan?
Right there.
You ready?
Oh, okay.
Watch you don't get nailed in the head.
Me?
No. Evan.
I don't think you can hit him, though. How are you going to turn around?
Where's Evan? Ouch, God dang it. Black fly got me like
I know, me too.
Oh,
All right, Mitch, nail it right here, buddy.
Our second baseman's on.
Okay, go. Brandy, go get him anyways. Don't like
How funny.
Go
Please, Randy.
I haven't caught it yet.
Will you go? Come on, we can Come on, you're tougher than that.
Danny, safe.
Don't let the
Bubble.
Okay, second base.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Don't show him his confidence. Go ahead. Come on.
Another chance.
All right, here we go. Now that you got players, you guys are in trouble.
Get ready.
You have players down there. Look.
Okay, back him up.
Go ahead.
Back him up.
No, you're right. Yeah, I'll see him in church.
I love you. Oh, don't hurt me.
Come on, Sammy. Go! Send it around, baby. Send it around.
I'll start like Uncle Rich guy.
Behind us, Sam. What?
Yes.
Oh, kick it. Kick it, Brian. Good guy.
Yes!
Safe. Hey, Mitchell, you're out, bud. You got your Uncle George. Got you out.
Yeah.
Good try. That was a good run.
Evan, aren't you going to play?
You're up. You're up.
All right, I'm ready.
Dangle in your back.
He's up there. He's up there. He's up there. That's the base. He's out. You're out. Send it around, Danny, the base.
Oh, here we go.
Grandma and me hit the ball on his back and they told me
We got nothing. Keep going.
Woo! Oh. Woo! Home run! Yes, yes. You rock. You rock.
That's illegal matter.
Come on, I'll after
You got to announce it.
Don't beat that.
All right, give me
Oh, put it down.
She's not on the roster.
You're out. No. I'm the umpire here. Come on, Brandy.
Put one, what I do is whenever I put one, I have money to pay with my girl money. And then I'll play two. And then some more money will come down, but not a lot of money. Yeah, but then when I get a lot of money in the trick, I get all three numbers. Yeah. I win.
So you have it figured out then, you
I
know?
have that figured out. I don't play three all at one time.
Yeah.
Only one. And then I build up.
You build up the credit? Oh.
Yeah, then I allow myself so much money. And then if I win, no, we'll never share again. Is she gone?
No, I just turned it on. I just turned it on. There's the teenager talking on the phone. Look at this motley crew. Hello, everybody. You're being filmed. Don't flip the bird or anything.
Happy
something.
happy.
Happy that we're
Happy that the noodles are cooking.
Run.
happy that
There
we're
you go.
all
What a lady.
Oh, your mom threw it down here, not me.
Oh. Don't wreck the flowers. I have to hurt you. Nick!
You can't show paint now.
No.
Yeah. When you go inside.
Maybe it's not because of the day.
Yeah.
Your son ever does that to me? You would pay for that one.
As soon as you get up and get to him.
So then we went to the Eagles, and then after that we said, okay, let's go to the casino. Well, then I played this Pac-Man. They were junkies every day. And I won on Pac-Man. I could not lose on that. I won 200 coins at a time. It was nickel machine.
Yeah.
But I would put in one right after. Oh, we had fun. I guess it's $50. I didn't turn on Creek. There's lots of work.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll try that.
What is today?
Yeah, what day is Saturday?
It'll be busy.
It'll be busy.
Well, but they say you get a hold of her. Yeah, she called
American girl.
Get a hold of her.
Look at it. Randy always answers.
I want to leave.
You guys are good slaves. Thanks for being good slaves.
You know what? We appreciate her
Come on, Nick. There's Nicky. Hi, Nick.
You don't even know, actually. You missed a good course. They say you missed a good fun course. That is so cool.
Is that show in there?
Yes, sir.
All right, take a picture. Is it August 3rd? Look in your bag.
Yeah.
Brother.
17, no. 28. How many? 3.
What's that?
25 days.
Oh, you got this.
How many days till?
25.
Let's see, it's the 3rd, 25.
Okay.
Wait, we're gonna try to eat. Here, wait a minute. Don't shoot yet. I'm gonna give you another chance.
Come on, Evan.
Okay, so go ahead. Try it again. Look at very many of these houses. One more. Okay, get a prize. Just a minute.
You won a prize.
Hey, good morning. Good, buddy. Great. I can see
Way to win something too? Okay, come over.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty about not doing
Come on,
I'm
Nat.
gonna give you credit, but I'm telling you.
hard to
Like that. Now you get credit for that one. Here, you try and hold it like.
She throw like her mother?
Okay. Just like that.
Come on.
Pick point first. That hard balloon.
Come on. She gets you a prize.
Come grab your stuff.
Here, we'll go find your prize.
Oh my goodness, Daddy wants two prizes.
Wow. Tell her. Come on, Brandy.
to hold it for you?
The bigger kids stand back to the time in life, but just give me a minute. I'll try
How do you feel?
to hit one. See? Hey, Star, is there some bigger kids and little kids?
Yay.
Which is Jordan.
I'm holding them for you.
Mom,
Keep looking.
Mama,
Ah.
I'm gonna go out now.
Go hard.
Yay! You guys have red tickets? Again.
Do it again.
Jesse, what's your number?
Do it again.
Oh.
That doesn't sound like
What number are you looking for?
916.
Oh, no, we don't have it.
16. All right, hang on. Who am I missing over there on that side?
What was the winning ticket number?
916.
And that's for the children?
So what was Evan's and Natalie's?
I don't know.
Evan.
You're going to get one more. There you go. Okay. Oh, no, be careful what you're doing. Don't do that. Look for shiny ones. Jordan. Stay. These names hang to the bottom. Okay, here. Right in front of you.
Come on, Sam. Set it down,
How
honey.
much did anyone take? I need
A big one right there.
now you can't have any.
Jordan, stay back.
Marie, I swear. Oh, there was a big one. You bumped it, though.